Alright, welcome back to another round of Space Station 14. This will be a round taking place on Lizard's Den. Lizard's Den? Wizard's Den's Lizard server. And it'll be a Xenoborg round. During the many testing phases of the Xenoborg antagonist, I just got lucky enough to be one of them on a pretty fun round. However, I was unlucky that I got to be a Heavy Borg, which doesn't have much to do in the early phases of the invasion. I don't know, the antagonist. It was mostly up to the other Xenoborgs to get peoples, kidnap them, transform them to other Xenoborgs. Here's my first actual participation. You can see we started with only 4 people, now there's 6. Yeah, so 2 people were captured. And we get on station and attack Cargo. Cargo was the main victim of our early assimilation efforts, as I think the other 2 Xenoborgs who have been added to us is a Salvager and a Librarian. Anyway, as you can see, plenty of victims get absorbed back to the mothership. And I, as the Heavy Borg, am the one who has the most firepower. Or the only firepower, actually. The others all have melee weapons. I'm the only one with a ranged weapon. A laser. Which means I can fire down this range through all these glass doors and fire locks. Hopefully keep people away while we get our victims. And also because I was, I guess, hanging around the ship, just doing patrols. At some point, somehow, I got a little Among Us plushie on the Borg chassis. Anyway, our next target, after transforming a bunch of these victims into Xenoborgs, all heavy Xenoborgs, the next target was the AI. The AI could be a powerful tool against us, but also a powerful tool for us, as we are able to make an AI law set, a Xenoborg AI law set, which in case you don't know is number 1, protect the mothership. Number 2, protect your own existence. Number 3, obey the mothership. I don't know. Or number 3 is I don't know. And number 4 is something like acquire materials to make more Xenoborgs. But anyway, as we get here, a chemist comes in, unsupported, with a bunch of EMP mixes. So all the Xenoborgs lose power. However, because we're near the AI core, we could either retreat into space to recharge, or get deeper to the AI core, because there's a bunch of cyborg charging stations in there. Anyway, the chemist will be killed since they'll run out of mix in front of two other Xenoborgs. But this is one of the crippling weaknesses of Xenoborgs, is EMPs. As you can see, I can't do anything except move very slowly. We can't use our guns, we can't even punch if you wanted to. Anyway, now that we have the AI on our side, and a lot of units, about 10, 12, a big wave of heavy Xenoborgs, and some supporting engineering Borgs, and assassin invisible Borgs, and scout fast Borgs, we try and take over the station. But because of previous events, the door was bolted, so we're kind of slow on the initial attack. One of the crippling weaknesses of Xenoborgs is the EMP mix. Half of the Xenoborgs are vulnerable to flashing, half aren't. The Heavy Borg and the Scout Fast Borg are immune to flashes. And now We go in here with orders to get more sentiences, okay, more brains, to make more Borgs. So we try and stick together, be a strong force against any civilians we can encounter in these public halls. Since we don't have maintenance access, we're restricted to just the public halls. Unless we have some support from the other Borgs, which we don't. It's all heavies right now. So we got a couple of bodies. Because lasers can shoot very, very, very far, they're very good to push people away as long as you have some cover. Anyway, we got a couple of bodies, so we have to come back and regroup. With even more bodies, you can see now there's some bullet casings on the ground. But all the Xenoborg needs to be repaired is some welding from an engineering Borg. It takes a while, like 30 seconds. Anyway, the next wave. Now there's some opposition in front. Security forces. But there's way too many... There's, what, 3 security people with guns and like 12, 20, I think at this point, 20 Borgs. So we can just rotate. Whoever has health goes up, whoever doesn't goes back. And because we have laser guns, as long as we take cover, we'll be fine. Anyway, after the repairs, there's been more ongoing combat in front. It seems to be somewhat of a stalemate. As you can see. Also at this point, the crew reconverted the AI back to their side, so they won't be working for us anymore. As you can see, as soon as one heavy Borg falls, our next wave of heavy Xenoborgs fully repaired comes in. And once again, as soon as these guys have to retreat because they took damage, I go in the front because I have full health and ammo. Having infinite ammo does help a lot. But this leads to the next weakness. Right now, the capital ship, the mothership, is pretty much completely undefended. So if the crew had mounted an attack on the AI core at the mothership, or attacked the engineering Borgs while they were repairing the weak units, because that's usually where, all the weak units are going to be having to hang around the engineering Borgs. So if you can mount an assault on that point, you can wipe them out. Or, thirdly, that's not an option right now because we kind of killed all of cargo. But if the crew had, also that was an amazing play from the stealth Borg. But if the crew had the cargo shuttle, they could try and make a shuttle gun, a war shuttle. Since the AI core, the mothership doesn't have any weapons, the ship doesn't have any weapons. If you have a ship with weapons, you should have the advantage. If you kill the AI core, in theory, all the Xenoborgs will be killed at the same time. It's like a critical weakness. Anyway, the next wave. This time the AI has been reconverted back to our side. As we can just print another AI board and we have the console in our ship. And the crew started to kind of run out of numbers. Security forces have been mostly assimilated. There's still some resistance left. They haven't called evac. Not that it matters. Evac or not doesn't really matter for Xenoborg. At this point, we didn't have any victory conditions or anything, so you just play the game and do your best. Unlike nuclear operatives, where you have an actual goal to nuke the station, here it doesn't matter if they evac or not. So it does matter for the for the round. As you can see, I see here a bunch of flashes being made. The security officer with a shotgun who runs out of ammo. Also, the flash did not affect us, but we do get downed, both of us. So if the security officer could repair, they could try and finish us off. I mean, reload, as they're doing right now. But they are taking damage, slowly but surely. The Borg in front takes a bunch of hits, but a new wave of heavy Borgs comes in to finish them off. This was a close one. If these two security people had pushed up a bit, or had some help from literally anybody else, they could have wiped us out. At least this group. At this point, it's half. The station is, I think, pretty much half Xenoborgs, half crew. As we keep converting more people. In fact, I think the mothership has been asking for materials for this entire time, but the engineering Borgs, who would usually go around taking materials, are busy repairing us. So the people we're dragging back aren't getting Borged as fast as they used to be. Anyway, we get some orders from the mothership to eliminate a dragon who's made their way to the station, since they have potentially brains inside of it.
Attention.
So I make sure to ask the AI, because I don't think they have Xenoborg comms. They can't hear the orders of the mothership. So I ask the AI to locate the dragon, so we can recover the bodies inside of it, if it's eaten anybody. As you can see, it's a constant stream of bodies being dragged back to the mothership. The less players, play the game once they've been defeated at the Xenoborg. It's usually good manners, if not at least objectively good for your side to do that. So because I know that the AI is cripplingly low on materials, I try and see if engineering here, with their lays, has any materials left in them. Mainly steel, but there isn't much. So I don't bother taking set 5 steel and leave. And try to look for the dragon. Also been said that there's a bunch of brains in science. But I've been hearing survivors on the bridge saying they were faxing stuff. So I'm hoping that they get this new wave to wipe out the last of the resistance. As you can see, because heavy Borgs are cripplingly slow, it means that people don't use... There's not much friendly fire. Well, okay, there's some friendly fire when there's heavy fighting and people weaving in and out of your formation. But because of how slow you are, you have the time to take a designed formation when you start shooting, a firing line, that kind of stuff. Anyway, we heard that the dragon has been near the bar, and there's survivors on the bridge, so it's both in the same direction. As I pass by here, I can see that one of the barkeeps is down, so we can get their bodies. Doesn't matter if they're rotten or not, as long as the body is still intact, or if there's a brain left. Even a Borg brain, we can kill Borgs and transform them into other Xenoborgs. So as long as there's the body, rotten or not, or there's a brain, or a Borg brain, we can transform them into a Xenoborg. And we can see that at least one security member is still protecting the survivors in the bridge. Anyway, people are fighting the dragon and its corpse. And we get a message that Central Command has sent the self-destruct code to the station, which is something that we have to prevent, because if the self-destruct activates, it could kill the mothership. Or potential, you know, or even if we escape, it could destroy potential brains where we could convert. Which is part of our law sets, I think, if I remember right. So make our way to the bridge. The dragon is still doing stuff, portals and whatnot, but we make it to the bridge, and we have to fight with the survivors. They're gonna have very, very, very limited resources, so we can just let them shoot their bullets. As they're trying to hold us back. With the AI here to give us moral support. Like I said, people have they've been trying to escape using the space access, but first of all, there's a bunch of Xenoborgs out there, and second of all, they don't have spacesuits, and third of all, there's a tarantula here to bonk him. So, the survivors get gotten, the spider gets away. I don't think we can Borg the spider, so it doesn't really matter to us. The dragon's been killed. As many people as possible that we found have been dragged back to the mothership, who is now running out of materials to convert more people. And we have here the self-destruct codes to the station. Also, as you can see here, an engineering Borg keeps trying to repair me, but I keep not noticing and I keep moving, which must be quite frustrating for them. Anyway, make sure to burn the papers so they don't self-destruct, because that'd be bad for us. Anyway, we get orders to get more steel, because because there's been like a choke point on the engineering Borgs. We usually would be focused on getting steel since they can't really fight, but they've been actually focused on healing us. Since there was a lot of heavy Borgs doing a lot of fighting, all the engineering Borgs were busy repairing us all the time at all times. Anyway, we get some repairs and a bit of steel, but not much. Xenoborgs could have advanced modules if you have plasteel and other advanced components, but we're going more for a quantity rather than a quality type of situation. Anyway, we head back to the shuttle. I try and look out for steel, but we find a survivor. Now, this entire station pretty much has become spaced. And they don't have a spacesuit, so I know that they're gonna die rather quickly. So I'm not worried about them having a weapon. And they pass out. So we just make sure that they're not faking it. And we take them back to the ship. So because we have our hands full with this body, we won't be looking for steel anymore. Much to the chagrin of the AI. It's not an AI, the mothership core? The mothership? I don't know what the name is gonna be. Uh, People have been calling it Xenos, which I don't know if it's gonna be an issue when
The
actual
emergency shuttle has
Xenos,
docked with the
if they
station.
ever get introduced to the regular game. Yeah, we'll see. We get some sick music as the emergency shuttle has arrived. Seems to have triggered something. We play some sick beats. Also, pretty much the entire station has been either killed and converted or is sitting waiting to be converted. As there's going to be a giant pile of brains next to the AI core, not the mothership core, the mothership brain, I don't know. So we do a quick charge. Xenoborgs have a decent amount of charge, but I have had to charge like, let's say every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. Anyway, we're still looking for more people to convert. That's basically all we have to do, is convert more people. Kind of in the zombies mode. When you're a zombie, all you do is look out for more people to convert to zombies. And there's some people out there. We have lost some Xenoborgs. As you can see that they've been killed and their modules laying on the ground. But I wonder if you can kill a Xenoborg, get the brain back to science, Borg them, in a regular body, but give them their Xenoborg's module. So you can have a Xenoborg, so you have like an engineering Borg with a gun, fight more Borgs. Oh. Like a reverse conversion. Anyway, we've seen the paramedic, but also we found in this little side room a body, so that's good. Probably rotten by now, but doesn't matter to us. Paramedic tries to escape, but even though we're slow, so they could escape, they went to a single tile tunnel, so they didn't have anywhere to dodge. Anyway, the evac shuttle launches as we have more bodies. At this point, I think one of the possible options was for the mothership to use, since we did convert the quartermaster, they could have used the Digiboard to buy some materials, but at this point it's been like half an hour of constant fighting with Xenoborg stationed in cargo, so cargo hasn't been operating all that much. Not ever since we killed most of them. So if we already spend the money at some point, or if they spend the money at some point, then that's that. Anyway, you can see here the army. A bunch of at least MMIs, if not Xenoborgs, have been made. Because there's no materials. You can see just a brain getting dragged. And they said there's one person alive left, a mime, which means our mission is not done. And that's the end of the round. Xenoborg's pretty much won that hard by killing everybody. And it was quite fun. Though, it seems like the Xenoborgs, at least once they get to this point, once they have a big, heavy army, fighting them head-on, without like an entire crew armed up, like it was the nuclear operatives, is quite risky. But they have some weaknesses. Obviously, if you can locate their backline and attack that point. Since there's more people than nuclear operatives, where there's only 5. Since here, you start with 4, but you can convert and convert and convert. At some point, you can get into bigger scale tactics. So front lines, back lines, HQs, FOBs, squads. Anyway, that was fun, quite fun, except for the parts where that the beginning of the beginning of the round that I had to skip because the heavy Xenoborg did not get much action during that time. I was mostly just guarding the mothership core and nothing was happening. It was the scouts and the assassins and the engineering Borg who were getting all the action then. But that's that. See you guys next time. Okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye. Also, hopefully Xenoborgs will be released somewhat relatively soon-ish. I don't know the timeline, but they are. When I played that back like a month or 2 ago, they were pretty fun. So, fingers crossed. Okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye.